Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for tuning in. This is just kind of like a little off-the-cuff video that I didn't plan on making, but it's a Sunday afternoon. I got a string changing project in front of me, and I feel like I've got an important topic to cover here. Well, important to some, my Floyd Rose family. This is an important one. Anybody who's interested in maintaining a perfect float on your Floyd Rose bridge, I got something to show you here. And for anybody who's seen any of my Floyd Rose maintenance tutorials, of which on the channel I have many, you'll know that I always say that the absolute best way to maintain a perfect float all the time, low maintenance, is to use the exact same gauges and the exact same brand of strings every single time. So first you find the tuning that you want, you get the gauges that you want, then you get your float set up perfectly. And if you just, every time you change strings, use the exact same strings, exact same gauges, exact same brand, the Floyd Rose shouldn't require any adjustments. Very minimal, if any, sporadically, but it should perform how you want it to, as long as you don't make any major changes. If you're gonna do big tuning changes or anything like that, adjustments are gonna be required, and that's okay. People like to experiment, people like to try different gauges, different brands, all that. I get that, 100%. And I do that as well, sometimes. So, but if you want it to be no maintenance or low maintenance, just use the exact same brand, the exact same gauges for your particular tuning every single time. So in this case here, you can see on my beautiful RA600 here that my float is absolutely perfect. It was set up perfectly. It's in drop C right now, and everything plays well. It's totally cool. I just want to put some new strings on it. I'm gonna be using it for a show coming up here. And a strategy I always use religiously is that anytime I change strings, I label it. So this is in drop C. It's got 11 to 52s on it, and it was changed July 13th, 2024. And I know that looks like a 5, but it's an S. That's for String Joy. So I know the brand that I have on here, and I typically don't even need to write the brand, but because I was experimenting with some different brands, I wanted to label certain guitars that have different brands just so I knew what I was up against. Because I have a feeling, even though I'm going to change to these DRs here right now, which are the exact same gauges, and I'll go over more about that in a second, I know that I'm going to have to make a float adjustment. I'm not changing tunings, I'm not changing gauges, I'm only changing brand. And you're going to see what's going to happen to my float and why adjustments will need to be made, and why it's important to stick with the same brand if you want, like I said, low or no maintenance. But if you don't care, if you want to experiment, do whatever you like. So these String Joys, unfortunately, I don't have the pack anymore. So I can't show you the box that has the exact gauges on it, but I was able to find my order form. So if we look here at the order form online, you'll see the gauges there correspond perfectly with the gauges of these high beams I'm about to put on. 11, 13, 20 wound, 30, 42, and 52. Everything is exactly the same. I'm going to use the exact same tuning, but it's a different brand, String Joy DR. And I like the String Joys a lot, but I was just experimenting with them actually, just to see if I liked it. And ultimately, the DRs just have the best feel to me right now, And I've been using them since 2017, and I've dug them. These are the same gauges that I fell in love with Dean Markley Blue Steels, but they no longer make them exactly like this. So Jim LaMarca from my band recommended DR that he was using, and the guys were super cool. And we've had a great relationship ever since, and I truly do love the strings. Love the String Joys too, but they just didn't perform exactly, you just gotta play them for a while, like I did. And I decided to come home to the DRs here. I appreciate everything String Joy did for me and all that. But so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna pop these on, and I'm gonna show you again. Here's the before. We're in drop C, tuning's good, everything's good. And I'm gonna change these out. And because I have literally 24 or more guitar maintenance tutorials on the channel, focusing specifically on the Floyd Rose, string changing, guitar maintenance, everything about the entire setup process from top to bottom, intonation, truss rod adjustments, action, everything like that. I'm just gonna blast through this particular string change with fast motion. But if you wanna see exactly detail by detail, I walk through everything. I have multiple videos and a link for you right up here, wherever that is. You know, my guitar maintenance tutorial playlist, and I'll link it for you in the description below if you want to see step by step exactly how I do things, how I explain. I'll explain everything perfectly for you so you can get the job done right, because maintaining a perfect float is essential for good playing and all that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to blast through this, and I'll see you on the other side. And I'm just going to put the strings on and get them tuned up, stretched out, tuned up and all that, and we'll examine the float and look at the difference. And then, of course, I'm anticipating I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. See you there. All right, so here we go. Just finished up. Got the new DRs on there. You see right away, look at that bad boy coming up in the back, no longer flush. And look at this, 6-string. So tuning isn't 100% perfect, but it's 99% perfect. So no adjustments have been made to the float. We're in tune, and that happened. Pretty significant. Needs to go all the way back like that to be flush. Sorry, hold on. Needs to go all the way back like that. We're currently up like that. Look at that. So, right there is proof that even though I'm using the same tuning and same gauges, just a different brand makes a significant difference on the float. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust that, and all we have to do is flip the guitar over and tighten those screws in the back a little bit, putting more tension on the springs, which will pull this back. And it requires doing that, then a tuning adjustment, then maybe another adjustment on the screws for the springs, and more tuning back and forth, a little bit of a balancing act, a little bit at a time, and we'll get that sorted. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, but the mission of this video has been accomplished, to show you exactly what I knew what was going to happen and why it's important to just use the exact same strings every time if you don't want to have to mess around with floating your bridge. Okay, so we're back. Absolutely perfect float. Tuning, again, just getting it ballpark there. Obviously that'll change as I tighten the locking nuts there, and then we got the fine tuners to go, but that's as close as we can get it, and we have an absolutely perfect float. So for anyone interested, that was 1 1/4 turns, but it's gonna vary for everything. I felt super lucky because I've just done this so many times, you know, so I just guessed 1 1/4. I'm like, just based on how much the float was up, you know, at that particular, after I changed the strings, I was like, all right, I'm just going to start with a full turn. And then I'm like, yeah, I'll go a full 1 1/4 and see what happens. So I did that. And then I put the whammy bar back in and gave it a big, like one of these a few times to try to get it to settle. And I didn't have to make any further adjustments. So got lucky there. Perfect. Now, like I always say, I'm going to let this sit overnight. I'm going to get it, you know, a little bit closer right now, just in terms of its tuning, maybe even lock it up, all that. And then I'll come back in the morning after it's had some time to sit and see if any other adjustments are necessary. But like I said, mission accomplished for this video. I wanted to show you exactly what happens. Same gauges, same tuning, just a brand change, how much of an effect that had, where we needed to go over a full turn on each of those screws. And I do each screw the same amount to try to keep it as flat as possible. So that's that. I hope this was helpful to people. I know it's gotta be. My 2 first float videos that I did early in this channel are my most popular videos on my entire channel. It blows me away that there's this many people interested in the Floyd Rose bridge. It's incredible to me. But a lot of players out there, we love it, and happy to help in any way I can. Again, check out my guitar maintenance series tutorials with the playlist. I'll probably put it at the end of this video. It'll be in the description, everything, where I have detailed videos on every step of the setup process for Floyds, non-Floyds, Evertunes, fixed bridges, tune-o-matics, everything. I got it all here on the channel. Appreciate everybody watching. If you're not subscribed yet, please go ahead and do that. It really helps me out. I have a beautiful Patreon community and a guitar DVD that you can learn more about in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Cheers. See you on the next one.